Hey, this is Andrew, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Oculus Quest 2. This is an amazing device. I've had it for about a year, and I'm going to show you real quickly just some of the main settings, some of the main things that you can do with this device. So, I'm hesitant to show you. There's so many things I could show you right now. I could show you all the Wi-Fi stuff, the Guardian, all those things. All that stuff is pretty self-explanatory. The one thing I wanted to show you about the Guardian, if you're wondering what that is, the floor level is so self-explanatory, but the one thing that I struggle with a little bit is doing the room scale boundary or the stationary boundary. So that's one thing I struggle a little bit. This is the room scale boundary, and you basically just draw it in your room just like she's doing. But one thing at first, I wasn't sure how wide to do it. I was trying to play a table tennis game. I couldn't quite get it to work well enough. It didn't give me enough space. If you have a small room, what I would say is you can be liberal in some cases. If you've got furniture, for instance, I've got nice leather furniture. I can just draw over basically almost to the back of that couch if I'm playing a table tennis game, because I can reach over the sofa, right? So if I run into it with my leg, that's not a big deal. It's soft, right? So one thing is you can do that. That's not going to cause any problems. Now, the other side of the room, I have a TV, and I need to be really careful. Obviously, I don't hit my TV, so that's where I'm going to draw well short of where that TV is. So experiment with it a little bit, see what works best for yourself. The stationary boundary is more when you're sitting down. If you're not like doing these games where you're moving around a lot, the stationary boundary is really good. You can sit, it's all is a circle. There's nothing to draw, right? With this room scale boundary, you're actually drawing something. So that was the one thing I wanted to show you there. So let's get out of that. Let's go and see. So this room I'm in right now is this is the scenery here. There's a ton of other sceneries that you can download and look at. There's my avatar over there, by the way. But this is pretty cool. It just allows you to just move around a little bit, maybe get comfortable with the controls. I'm sure there's other things you can do in here, but I want to show you really quickly. First is the different buttons here. So to recenter, if you feel like you can't find your menu, just click the Oculus button. It's on the right controller, and it gets you centered again, okay? So it allows you to see your menu again. I use that pretty frequently. If you're playing games or something and you need to get recentered, just press that button. Okay, the other thing on your controller that you're gonna use a lot is your trigger button. That trigger button is basically when you're clicking on any menus, things like that, you're gonna need to hit that a lot. Whenever you're selecting something. That's usually the way it works. All games are different, but in general, that is usually what you're going to use to select a menu item and click into it. The joystick, a lot of games you can propel yourself, you can move yourself around in games. Now, like here, for instance, I'm hitting the right joystick. You can hit left or right, but see these little dots here? That's how you can move around. You can propel yourself. Now, again, it depends on the game, but in this particular scenery here, you can just move around, right? And to move left or right, all you do is just click it left, right. It's just click left or right. I'm moving counterclockwise, and now I'm moving clockwise. Okay, so if you want to move forward, you can just go to these little dots, and you can go, I'm on the couch right now, right? So it's pretty cool. So you'll really, just the way, I would say spend a little time here just getting comfortable, moving around, making sure things are clear. Sometimes with the headset, you need to move it around a little bit. If it's a little bit blurry, you may need to wear glasses, but a lot of times it's just getting it set maybe a little bit higher or lower, tightening it a little bit, doing some things. Also the lenses, you can move the lenses in or out. You can experiment with that a little bit, but just make sure you don't touch it with your fingers. Try to touch the outside edges. Also, the little rubber thing that fits around this, sometimes you'll find it gets it starts coming loose. So just make sure when you wrap it around that there's no loose areas, that you tighten it well. And when you insert the piece that kind of fits on the mask and clicks it in, make sure everything's tucked in with the rubber piece around there. Whatever, I don't know what it's called, but whatever that piece, make sure that it's set right before you click that in there, and it's going to lead obviously to a much better experience once you get that set up. So it took me a little while to get the hang of that, but once you have it set, usually you're fine with it. You don't have to keep on messing around with it or not. So yeah, overall, I've had this for a year. It's done great. The battery life is great. It lasts for a long time. I'm going to show you, I'm not going to go through and show you a lot of things, but I'm going to show you just some of the game settings here. So this is not the game settings, but just the menu in general. This is where, just click here. This is where you're going to find all the games that you've downloaded. So this is where you're going to probably spend a lot of time. You go, once you're logged in, click here. You can click around and see all the games. If you're wanting to purchase new games, you go to the store. You can search for stuff. You can search by genre. You can search by ratings, pricing, all that stuff, or filter by all those things. This is where you can see the people that you've connected with. You can search for new people. All this stuff is very self-explanatory. There are a ton of features, there are a ton of settings, but it's really easy to get around. And like anything else, don't be afraid to just mess around and have fun with this. This is pretty amazing, right? It's so different. I've played consoles, my whole entire life, but this is different. I love it. Especially love the interaction with other people. So especially with some of my old friends, we go and play a putt-putt golf game, which is really fun. So we'll do that together. We can catch up, chat. We can play this game at the same time. I've also met new people, play a lot of this 11 table tennis. That's a lot of fun. Play with some friends there, but also have met some new people. And what keeps me coming back is just the competition, is playing with new people. That's what keeps things interesting. There's certainly a lot of single players games. Those games, I don't have a lot of them, but those games I tend to get bored with just because it's the same thing again and again. What's really cool is and dynamic is when you're able to play with different people. So that's what keeps me coming back. And so you'll find that, some of those other games are really cool. When the novelty wears off, you stop doing that. But the other games you continue to do are where you basically have that social interaction with people. So make sure to try some single player games, but also some multiplayer games so you can get the full experience of the Oculus, of the Quest 2. So hope this review is helpful. It's a lot of fun. Hope you enjoy it.